We'll say, like, but I think we're safe now, mate.
Ah, mate, have to be. Have to
I think,
be. Fingers
I think,
crossed, Brian.
I think we're all good, mate. I really do.
Aye.
But it's horrible being a Newcastle supporter, like.
Oh, no. I know.
You know,
It's like,
especially like when you look back years ago, what it used to be like.
oh,
Because
man, when you. I know.
I've never been a proper supporter for a long time because I just wouldn't give Mike Ashley me money.
No,
You
no.
know what I mean? I stay straight through and he's absolutely killed it.
I
A,
know.
a good weekend experience. You know what I mean? I'll probably speak on behalf of half the Newcastle fans here,
I
but they'll
know.
probably all feel the same as me. You know what I mean? He doesn't care about us, mate.
Nah, does he fuck? It's
Just,
the same as
he's just,
I remember when they had Tino Aspia and David Ginola and
yeah,
Philippe
yeah, and then
Albert
with
and
the days, wasn't it?
oh man, when they did the 5-0 against Man U with a Philippe Albert
Yeah.
chip and oh man, just living
I
in
tell my
dreamland.
18-year-old, you know, I'm an 18-year-old, right? He's just experienced total misery with Newcastle. He's never
Aye,
seen any of the good. Me and my eldest son, who's like 27, we talk about
because you're
Newcastle.
Jordan, 27 now.
He's just had a
Fuck,
baby. I'm a granda for the first
you're
time.
27, mate. Where the fuck is that time going?
Mad, innit? But he
Grin,
started to pick up a cue, show a bit of interest and all that, you know
has
what I
he?
mean?
Especially if you're
Um,
teaching him stuff, mate.
well, you know, it's pretty mad, right, that he's had me. Do you know our Jordan, right? He had like the perfect set of, you know, if you wanted to get trained in a
Yeah,
setup, Jordan had like the best around him that he could ever have imagined.
yeah,
Because not only did he have me, right, he had some of the legends of the game.
yeah.
We'd have tournaments in my Buzzers, my first club, and we'd have Darren Appleton, Chris Mellon, Phil Harrison, Morris, Mick Hill, Jason Twist. I keep going on and on, Lee Kendall. They'd all come to my events. And my little one, who was about 6 or 7 at the time, was keen and eager. And they would all individually get him on the table. You know, so I speak to him now about it. I say, now you had like the best like chances,
You
you know,
don't realize how good like you had like the top people, top people.
top people.
Apart from your old man, do you know you?
Yeah,
Aye.
yeah. But now at his age, now he's suddenly taking notice. You know what I
Aye.
mean? I said to him, if you'd done this ages ago, because he was
Aye.
5-1 up against me the other week, you know.
Jesus.
5-1. I never had a shot.
Is
And
he
I'm like,
Is he attacking or is he a bit tactical? Does he like attacking?
he's not attacking. You know, he hates it. Now when I fudge him, he hates it. And my middle one, I've just started teaching him like,
Aye.
I had a frame with him the other week, right? Well, these new rules are really good. If you get dead on your last ball, you can actually torture your opponent if you want to. You know, if you wanted to torture
Aye.
an opponent, you could literally do it in these rules and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it until an opponent, I think, would pick the black up and put it down the pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's my son and he's never been tortured ever before in a situation. He's got one ball left, right? Now he's up against 7, but I've got this little huddle on the bottom cushion that once I get you in that little huddle, you ain't getting out.
You're not coming out no
So
matter how hard.
You're not coming out. So he try to get out. He can't. I just put him back in. You know what I mean? I just kept doing it. Doing it. It's like, oh, my dog. You've done that 7.
How we father? Let us out, man. Just go for them. Go for them. Put us out in misery.
I say, no, you've got to learn what it's like to be tortured, son. But it's really good that them two's now like really starting to show interest, you know.
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Because, like, I'm getting older, Kev. You know, I'm getting like, I'm still going to put my phone on silent because I'll
That's
probably
alright, man.
I'm getting older, and I'm going to just put her on silent, mate.
I ain't bother.
And I know I'm not going to be like playing forever.
Yeah.
It's going to be a time like because I still got the passion,
Yeah.
and I've still got the eyes, and I've got the wisdom, the experience.
But that's something you can pass on.
That's what I want to pass on, Kev.
Yeah.
Do you want it to? I don't want it to just like leave it with me because I've got so much in this head, you know.
Yeah. It would be a crying shame for it all just to go to waste.
Yeah, there's like so much in here, right?
Yeah.
Like it would be a shame, mate. But I'm not going to let it just stay in here. Somebody out there, right, I see, because I'm building a new pool club at the minute.
Yeah.
And I see my future protege coming from that area in some shape or form, you know what I mean? That's what I feel when it happens.
One day that door's going to open and someone's going to come in and you're like, you're the next big thing.
Yeah, that's the one. Because, you know, like, previous to the next one that walks through the door, a lot of people not, like, know this, but Michael Peel, George Compton, David Compton, and Dean Wilson, they're all my proteges.
Yeah.
All three of them. All cut from my cloth, all brought up by me from 14 to 20, 21-ish.
Yeah.
And I was missing for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which we can talk about whenever you want to. Peely fantastic. One of the probably greatest thumpers of a ball down the rail was side on United. I've never seen anybody pump balls up a cushion like him.
Yeah.
With spin on the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard enough to put one up a reel with speed, but you try putting that bit of spin on as well. And little Peely was a master of it. Yeah,
he was. He is. I saw him, mate. He came to a comp at yours and he was putting his ferrule on the bus on the way over.
He just got total carefree attitude, Kev. Like, not a care in the world, you know what I mean? But out of the three of them, he was probably the strongest, right? Yeah. But didn't have a care in the world. And, like, he didn't play for something like 18 months.
Yeah.
Didn't know where his cue was. Went to a Newcastle IPA event.
I was there.
And lost in the final. You know what I mean?
He was asleep next to us and they called him out for the final and he just kind of sat up and just walked out and played the final. He was getting some shit eye.
Yeah, so pure natural talent. But the other two, George and Willow, equally in that right now, the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Give anybody a game, Kev.
I know.
Give anybody a game.
I rate them both really highly. Willow especially is just...
Both cut from my cloth, you know? And fair play to them for sticking out and putting their own skills and learnings and time and effort.
Yeah.
Because to be a pool player and you want to really push it, you got to put the time in, you got to put the effort in. You know? And if people's out there giving you good advice, it's up to you whether you want to let it garner money or not the other, or you absorb it like a sponge, you know what I mean?
That's it, man.
And I was always a sponge from a kid. Anybody that gave me a hint or a tip, it didn't get chucked out that year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It stayed with us. And I did that throughout and still doing it now, you know what I mean? But it evolved like over the years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like through the rule changes and the rule changes of like how the game's developed also with the balls and the cloths and the technology, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you think back when you first started, like, a lot of them cloths were kind of slow, like screw back and do certain shots. I had to change my stroke because as the tables evolved over the years, I found that my hitting stroke, right, was just not going anywhere near what I had trained myself to do.
Yeah.
And what I found out was I had to retrain my cue action to where my cue action didn't actually look like a cue action. It was more of a wrist technique, like a jabby type of thing, like jabbing at the ball. And the reason that was to control the weight and get used to these fast clots. But like now I've kind of sussed it now, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that was a kind of strange transition. And I'll tell you what another strange transition was as well. Going from Super League tables, the whole Super League tables.
Yeah.
Training on one of them and then going playing on a Supreme. Total different ball game. Massive, totally different. So, like now the pool world that we're living in at the minute is so different to like my fledgling days, you know, because it's like 36 years in the bank with me now, Kev.
Well, I do want to talk about those fledgling days. If I'm looking forward to that.
Like how it began was a fluke.
Was it?
It was,
Well, I mean, firstly, you know, I've got to say, firstly, Bragg, you know, I love you, mate. thanks for coming on and having a chat with us. You know, I think I've known you for years and years, and always got on with you. You've always been someone that when I see in a competition or see from across the room, I always go straight over. There's Bri. Come over. Always got that smile on your face, and we've always got on. So I really appreciate you coming on just for a little bit of a chat about your career. Also to have a catch up as well, mate. It's great. You know I love you, so it's great to have a catch up.
We'll have a good old rap, Kev. And I'm sure anybody that watches this will find a few things canny, like funny, fascinating, absorbing. You know what I mean? Because there's so much to talk about.
I know.
Like, I could probably keep you for a week. You know? And I know you haven't got that long, like, so you just fire away with me of what you want to really ask, and I'll answer in the best way I can, you know what I mean?
That's fine with me, mate. You know, this
with
last year...
with a smile on my face, but if you want us to start how it actually all began for me,
I'd love to.
I really believe that my life was already set out to be a pool player.
Yeah.
Before it had even set out to be a pool player, because there were so many twists of fate along my way that put me along that way. It's like it was meant to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've always believed everything happens for a reason, and everything that's happened to me has been for a reason. I often find myself when you go away to a tournament, right? And you can get a darn good spanking. No matter how good you are, right? If it's not your day, that spanking can come your way at any time. Now, what I found with the real top dog players, right? Like your Mellons and your Hills, a lot of people would bottle it against them. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen so many times, right? Where early doors in a tournament, Mick or Mellons, first round, 6 apiece, first to 7, yeah. The guy's got him. He's there. He's ready to go, and fall to pieces. Lose the match that they should have won, and then Mick would go on to win the tournament. Yeah, I've seen it happen so many times, mate. These players, if you ever get them on, they'll clarify it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's because of the power of the respect level of that player. And if you're going to beat that player, you got to put that out of the door, because at the end of the day, they're just another human, right? And how them balls develop on that day could go your way. And if it goes your way, you must punish that player. Otherwise, you're never going to beat a player of that class. And you got to go in with a positive mindset. It's no good going in, I'm playing Mick Hill, can't get walloped tomorrow. You got to go in thinking, I'm playing Mick Hill and he's going to get game off me, because you've got the positive attitude and you're not going in scared and fear,
Yeah.
You've got to learn that, Kev.
Yeah.
It's not just given to you. It's got to be learned. And that's where I'm at now, 36 years later. I got so much experience of, do you know at the start of it all, right? If you said to me, Bri, to be a top level pool player, this is what you're going to have to learn. You probably have to give us a book that big, right? And it would have probably put us off. Back in the day when I was 12, when I first started, I probably thought, I can't read all that. I would have probably done something else. But that's how big that book is, Kev, over the years.
Is that a world you were, Bri, 12 when you started?
I started when I was 12, but it was a total fluke, mate. Total fluke. And as I say, fate, everything happened for a reason. Back in that time, video recorders were very rare and far between. They were a very expensive product, and not a lot of people had them. My uncle had one, and Friday nights he'd buy video films, and if they were suitable for me on a Saturday, I'd go to his house and he'd buy his crisps and chocolate and sweets. I love going to the uncle's house and watching this video recorder, and that's what I did. And this one weekend, I've turned up and he's been burgled the night before.
Oh, never.
And I was devastated, you know what I mean? It's probably not as devastated as him, but I was devastated, and he'd seen it in us and he was like, come on, I'll take you for a game of pool. Right? So I'd never been in a pub before, you know what I mean? I was a talented little footballer, that was me. That was what I did. I was a football. That was my little passion, and I
Football
was
nut.
quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I could play with both feet.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of a brain. Didn't panic on the ball, and that was quite good. You know what I mean? I had a few trials with a couple of teams, but he takes us to this pub this day. My uncle Keith, and that there's a grown men's pool team there, right? And they're playing a game called Pot the Lot. I've never played it ever before. I've never picked up a cue. My uncle, how I'll put you in? It's £1. What do I do? I've never picked a cue in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says you've just got to pot as many balls as you can without missing, right? So I goes on, I get none because I've never picked a cue in my life. That should be the score that I'm going to get, isn't it? None.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. But you know the pool team behind us, they didn't pat us on the back and buy us an orange juice and say I had a base on. They mocked us and they belittled us. And I was only a bit.
Yeah.
And I proper took it to heart, right? I went home. I says, Mom, I want you to buy us a pool cue. She went, pool cue? What do you want a pool cue for? I says, because I'm going to go beat all the men in the pub. She says, She says, are you mad? You're a good little footballer, man.
Exactly. I want to get some new shin pads, not a cue.
True. That's how it began. So sure enough, she bought us a cue, right? A second-hand £10 cue. That was not straight. It went up and then it went round. It was as bent as cue as you've ever seen it. Like,
lacquer all over it, I bet.
The worst warped cue you've ever seen, mate, right? But to me, it was my first cue and it was a tenner. And I didn't care it was warped. Yeah. I didn't even know what warp meant. You know what I mean? I didn't understand until I seen proper players with their cues that was straight. And I'm like,
that's a straight cue? What's that?
Huh? Mine doesn't look like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I got used to it. I played with it for a bit. And what ended up happening was we had a local pool team with a local professional player on that pool team who I'd heard around. Remember, I still kind of play, mate. I've just been like belittled by a bunch of men and I'm on a bit of a Charles Bronson mission here. I'm going to beat these lot, you know what I mean? I'm going to have yous. You shouldn't do that with a child. And I followed it, Kev. I followed it, mate. I never give it up. And you see them people that day, over the time, I got every one of them. Every one of them I got in time because there was the pool team.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of big heads. They weren't like, they were look at me, you know what I mean? Look at me type thing. And I just thought, I'm having yous, like, I'm going to get good at this game and I'm going to come. And I did. I had them all, mate. And it was proper mad because I was 12. And by 2 years later, at the age of 14, from not picking that cue up, right, I was the best player in South Shields in 2 years.
Did you love the game as well, though? Did you like it, or did you just want to get revenge?
Do you know what it is? From like the age of 4 or 5, right? I always had a thing about this table, even though I never played on one.
Yeah.
I always had this thing. I was like fascinated by it. The table, snooker little balls. If my mate had a table, you know, but I'd never played on a proper pub table.
Yeah.
Not a real thing.
Yeah.
I always had a little fascination with it. And what ended up happening was I gets the cue off my mother, right? My £10 Wopo. And she would give us 30 pence. No, she won't. She'd give us 50 pence every night after school. And I could go to that pub where my uncle took us to. They had 2 pool tables. And my mum would give us 50 pence and it was 20 pence a game. So I'd have enough for 2 games and hope to get half as with somebody for a 3rd game. You know, that was me. Come from school, have me tea, 50 pence off my mum, straight to this pub. And this is how it began, right? I started playing by myself, stood upright, did have no cue action, no knowledge, just like potting balls. That's all I did. And there was another fella on the other table, right? And he's potting. I'm watching him play. He's potting and he's screwing way back. I'm like, hey, he can make it come back. Look, he's spinning it off cushions. It was good. You know what I mean? And he shouted us over this fella. He went, "Yeah, son, Howie, come and have a game with me." Because I was only playing by myself because there was 2 tables. So I'd gone over with him. And I puts me 20 pence in because I've only get 50 pence to remember, Kev.
Yeah.
And he pots the 7, he pots all the balls, right? Cleans up. I didn't get a shot. And then continue to pot all the other balls as well. And I thought, well, I didn't get much value from my 20 pence there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he went, "How I set them back up?" So I set them back up again. And he done it again to us. And he was like, "How I set them up?" I said, "I'm not playing you no more." I says, "I get 50 pence off me, mum. I've spent 40 on you and never had a shot." I says, "And you've also potted all the balls after you've potted your own." So I was in a bit of a sulk because I'd never had a go. But he was punishing, he was teaching us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was punishing us. The guy, and he went, £5 note, go to the bar, get all 20 pences, right? So now I'm happy again, you know, because he hasn't just whopped us and now I've got to just stand the boot and I can't play, you know what I mean? Because I just love to play, Kev. Just loved hitting balls. Now we see this guy who was called Billy Millen. He's probably one of my main inspirations that helped us get into this game, right?
Yeah.
Because when I met this guy, Billy, loads of things like went from there, right? Billy played for the best pool team in South Shields, which was called the Brunswick. And in that pool team was a fella called Norman Kojak Faza. Norman Kojak Faza was the first professional pool player from South Shields. He had a pool club in Sunderland called Kojak's, right? So I'd heard about this team because I remember I've got a little passion going on now. Billy's starting to teach us how to stand, my stance, how to hit the ball properly. He's now starting to because he can see I can pot them, Kev. I've got a natural ability to pot them. It's the rest is not there. I don't cue right. I've got no position. I don't know tactics. I didn't know nout. But Billy does. And he kind of takes us under his wing a bit, you know what I mean? Now, Billy was a snooker idol of Steve Davis. Steve Davis' stance was what Billy modelled his stance on.
Yeah.
Now he's going to pass that stance on to me. You know what I mean? And he did. It's not perfect. I haven't got a perfect cue action, but my fundamentals came from him.
Yeah.
So he's why I've got a little bit of part of me, special side. He probably doesn't know that I have, as deep as I have, but I have, you know what I mean? And he played for this best pool team. And he says, "Bri, do you want to come and watch us play?" And I was like, yeah, flipping right. Of course I want to.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You play for the best team in Shields, and there's a professional plays for them. So I goes this night, right? And you see this team, Kev, you know, I talked about a sponge earlier on. You absorb it or you don't. This team had 6 players in the team, right? And every single one of them had their own strength. So Billy wasn't just the stance. Billy was everything. Billy knew the weight, the cue ball, the positioning, the angles, the snookers. Whereas another member of the team was a really strong tactician, right? Another one knew how all the side worked.
Right.
Another one was brilliant. They all had their little bits, right? And I'm watching, I'm taking, because I want to learn, you know what I mean? And you know, within
I think I've lost you.
Gets with.
Oh, sorry, I just lost you there for a sec, bro. You're back.
There's a fella from South Shields called Phil Watson.
Aye.
He has this young whippersnapper, which is me. I've only been playing for 2 years, but I've now been mingling with the Brunswick pool team. I'm now part of their team. I've got myself into their team and I'm now playing for them. I've got myself a spot in that team because they're seeing this young'un's, he's good, you know what I mean? So what ended up happening from there was the best player in South Shields was a guy called Phil Watson. He was a 147 breaker on the snooker. He still plays now. He's 2 years ago, he won the South Shields singles, right? He's about 70, 75, I think. He's still a great player, you know what I mean? He wanted to put me in my place. That's what he wanted to do. But I took his place. That's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
He has wind of this young whippersnapper. So he says, come to my pub, I'll play you for 500 quid. So all my mates get their gyros together, because not a lot of them got out, you know what I mean? Back then, not a lot of money about. It's a tough area, this, you know the score, Kev. Al puts the gyros in. I goes off to this fella's pub, right? And he's got a 9x5 table. It's huge. He's a 147 snooker player. You know what I mean? Getting set right up, yeah, I am. Getting set right up, because I've never played on a table that big before. But now that I'm there and I'm in the door, and I've never played for money before. I'm only a babe.
Yeah.
I'm only a kid, Kev. I'm a babe. This is an adult. And he's not just an adult, he's a top of the range.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I gans in, right? And it was as hostile as you could ever imagine. Proper. Hostile. But because I was a kid, I was safe. You know what I mean? There's no, like, I was not in any danger, but it was hostile.
Yeah.
So I start this match, right? It's only first to 6. I'm 5-0 up on this guy. I got a straight black to win 6-0, and I pooped me pants. I missed the black right by a mile, right? And cause I thought I'm going to win anyway, you know? Just because I missed that. I knew what I'd done. I just panicked on the black, you know what I mean? Because I knew I was going to win. And the next thing, you know, it's 5s apiece. It's 5s apiece, and I should have been out the door, like, well gone in the last.
Should have already been
game.
home type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, but I dished him in the last frame.
Oh, nice.
I dished him after I put myself through all that torture. So I've beat this champion, right? So he's got to give me a return now on a normal size table. Now he's got to come to my hostile venue.
Yeah.
Right? And I whipped him. I beat him 6-2. So I beat the best player in South Shields twice. He's like, right, one more, back up here. And I whipped him again. Right? And that from that moment, because when I see I whipped him again, Kev, I did whip him, you know.
Yeah.
It was like, apart from that first game, it was, I should have won 6-0, it was 6-5. The next one on my table was 6-2. And then I went back on his table and I beat him 6-3. And that was him done. But what ended up happening from there was I started to play young guns, other Northeast young'uns.
Yeah.
And you won't believe who one of them young'uns was. Mark Farnsworth.
Yeah.
So, how did these games come around? My local pub where I play and practice, because it gives us the keys for the table, you know, it's great for me. There are a lot of shipyard workers. They all work in the docks. Mark's dad had a pub, and his mum had a pub in Hendon called the White House. It's also a dockyard. It's where dockyard workers work, right? So in a bait cabin, they start arguing about pool. We've got a young'un. They start talking about pool, and we get pitted together, me and this Mark Farnsworth. And it happens. The kid from Sunderland wants to play. He's a young'un. Do you want to play him, Bri? Flipping right. I'll play. He's only a kid just like me. I'll play him. Flipping right, I will. So off we goes to Sunderland. Starts playing against this young kid who I've never met in my life. But when I seen him play for a kid, I thought, God, he's good, isn't he? You know what I mean? Because from a very early age, he was, you could see that he was clinical, brain, and with a brain, tactical, knew when to stop, knew when to start, knew when to go. But you see me, Kev, I was a lunatic. I got my nickname Buzzer, right? It didn't come from nowhere. I got my nickname because I buzzed round that table as a teenager. I ran round that table like a headless chicken, mate. There was no time for thought for me. It was just go for game. Doesn't matter if you get snookered to death. That was my logic.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I get snookered to death. I'm just like Newcastle, Kevin Keegan's on. I'm just going to go for you. You know what I mean? I'm going to entertain. I didn't know tactics. I didn't know now. I wasn't a tactician, mate. I wasn't. But ended up having 9 battles with Mark. 9 matches, you know, like in the early days, and it was brilliant. If you ever get Farney on, ask him. Ask him about.
He's going to come on and we've spoken.
If you get him on, mate, ask him about. You've got to, and ask him how he felt, because I know how I felt as a young kid. You know what I mean? It was mind blowing, mate. It was mind blowing. But do you know the best thing about that? I just played 9 games with Mark. That was in the Northeast. There wasn't just Mark. There was like another fella who's just passed away, sadly, young Jonathan Harrison. Did you know Jonathan?
No.
Well, he was on level with Farnsworth back in the day, but he was a young one as well. And his dad owned the Shelter Deck in Southwick, Sunderland. And he played for money also. So now I'm playing against another shipyard worker because it was next to the docks again. Because that's how my games came around. Yeah. By cabin workmen having that beat, like, our guy's better than your guy. That's how my matches came about originally. And then from there, what would seem to happen was the pool players who were not cabin beat eaters, they started to seem to emerge. Pool players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those looking for an easy victim. Hustlers. We can know somebody who beat him. You know what I mean? And I ended up playing young Jonathan 5 times, but he's just passed away, bless him, but he was a great young player. He really was. He had the tactical brain. I don't know if he ever played Farney for money, like. I don't know if them two ever played each other, but I played him. Then I played him. Then I gets a game from a guy from Middlesbrough called Ricky Ward, who was the England captain. Tried to suck at me with him because he was the England captain and I was a nobody. And he got beat 9-1. I put my best performance in ever against that fella.
How old were you then when you did that?
Youngin, 15.
Jesus.
I absolutely destroyed him, mate.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my nickname that night against him. I got my nickname that night from that match against Ricky Ward. I played it in a pub called the Colliery. He was England captain, right? They had 9,000 quid. Back then.
That's a lot of wedge back then.
36, no, it's not. It's 32 years ago, right? Turns up with 9 grand. We've only got 2. We got 2 grand. Still a lot back then, but that's all we could cover. So we plays the match. It was done in 45 minutes. I played the best pool you could ever imagine. Probably played the best pool then, and I never did in my whole career. That one match, you know what I mean? I played so good, mate. I just cleaned up every time. Didn't matter where the balls lay, because I just went for them. But I just did it. I did them all night. I beat them. And then it kind of went a bit dormant in the Northeast. I didn't really play no more games like here. So I then found myself not playing any money games, but I wanted to know where I was at. I wanted to know where I'm at, you know what I mean? Kind of right. You've done all right in South Shields. You've done your few money games in the Northeast. There was other players who I played in the Northeast too, you'll know. Adrian Daniel.
Really?
He beat us twice.
Yeah. Just
fudged the life out of us both times because I didn't have a clue how to fudge. I was the perfect victim for a good fudger, mate. You know, back in the day, you know, if you had a good fudger, you had me, mate. Because my game, you just had to literally, like an MMA fighter, the guy who can stand up might be really good, but if you get him on the ground, he's a pilot. You know what?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The same kind of thing. I didn't have any big game. I didn't have no tactics. I played Adrian Daniel, and he just literally fudged us to death. And then I lost twice. So I thought, I'm going to go on the tour. I'm going to go on the UK tour. I'll see like where I'm at.
Check me level out, see where I am.
Well, that's why I'm really like a passionate young. I'm following this, you know what I mean? I'm not just doing it. I really want to. I set myself goals, man.
Yeah.
I set myself goals. Well, I like the goals I set as like a 15, 16-year-old were I wanted to turn professional by the time I was 24. I wanted to represent me country in the World Championships. I wanted to win a professional event. What was the other one? And play on TV. Then won me goals as a kid. And I hit them all.
Yeah.
I hit all the goals. The only goal I didn't hit was the professional title. That came later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was still a fledgling. I might be decent in the Northeast. I was good. I was good, Kev, right? But I didn't know like where I was at. So I joined the UK tour. In the first, it was already been going for a couple of years, but I remember the first year I played was in Great Yarmouth.
Yeah.
And I spoke to you earlier on a conversation on the phone, and I've told you, I remember Darren Appleton on the left and Phil Harrison on the right. It was their first year also. And that first year, I lost every first round game. I never progressed because I'm not just playing an amateur tournament. I'm playing a professional event. There's pros in this.
Yeah.
And these are a whole different level to me at the moment. You know what I mean? These are miles ahead, man. And I'll tell you some of the people who were the like better players at that time was Lee Kendall, Terry Hunt, Mickey Lambert, Steve Sanders, Keith Brewer was the top boy.
Yeah.
He was the top boy. Nobody could outthink him, mate. He was really clever. Tommy Donlan, Ross McInnes, Wayne Fryer. That was my starting. These were at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that first year, and I've got to mention another guy as well, because he's going to come into my conversation with you, was Rob Hill. Now, Rob Hill was 1 or 2 on the rankings. He was right up there. First year on that tour, I never won a match, but I didn't get embarrassed, right? I lost 5-4, 5-3, 5-3, 5-4, 5-3. So, you know, I was kind of like, hey.
I'm not doing too bad. It's my first tour. I'm still a young kid. I'm fledgling. I'm still plying my trade.
Yeah, and I'm playing a pro first round every time. So I'm not doing actually too bad, right? So because of that, though, I'll have a next season as well. Because that's just going to put that down to a learning curve, getting me feet bedded in a bit. You've done our read.
I've dipped my toe in the water type of thing.
Yeah. And what happened at the Tour 2 the next year, first event, I draws Rob Hill, who's number 2 on the ranking list. You know what I mean? First event.
Here we go again.
Yeah, first round, and I beat him. Right? And that was the moment where everything changed. Like, everything changed. Because what I said to myself was, he's number 2. If I can beat number 2, that means I can beat everyone below. You know what I mean? That's true, isn't it, Kev?
It is, well, yeah. It's a mindset, isn't it?
That was me off and running then. So how it worked with the structure back then, you joined the tour, there was 2, 5, 6, something like that. You had to get in the top 64 to turn professional. That was one of my goals. So I think from the first year, I finished round about 178, but I never won a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I still moved up like 80
Was it just kind of like the frames that you won, but the ones that got you?
Yeah, because you got something like ranking points and merit points.
So you're thinking, if I just get a couple of wins here, even just a couple of first round wins?
Because you see your frames back then, right?
Yeah.
You see if you won your first round match, that's 2 ranking points in the bag. But you beat me 5-4. You get the 2 ranking points. I get the 4 merit points.
Right.
The merit points are for each frame that I scored within that match. And that acts on that ranking list.
Right.
So because I had knocked in a 4-4, 3, a 4, and a 3, it kind of moved us up. Because those people that lost 5-0, 5-1, 5-2, That was that difference. And some went on and dropped off. So I found myself after year one, bottom, I was 178. So I thought, well, that's, I've never won a game, but I've moved up here. Keep going.
And out of all the pool players in the world, I'm 107. That's not bad. That's my first time.
Yeah, even though it's like, it's not really now, is it? You know what I mean?
I know, but you've got to give yourself that bit of confidence, haven't you? Just
you got to build from somewhere, right? So the next year, I think I moved from 178 to 72 or something, because I beat Rob Hill, and I had a couple that got real points this time. I wasn't getting just merit points. I actually got real ranking points, you know what I mean? And it moved us up the list, the canny bit.
Yeah.
So now starting to gain a bit of belief as well. You know what I mean? And something happened. Something happened back then that was, I tell you, fate couldn't have fated me better. You see, in the early days with the EPA rules, right? Nobody could beat Keith Brewer. And I mean, nobody could beat him there. He'd lose the odd one to Wayne Fry. I used to give him a game. But Brewer he was like Mick Hill. That's what he was like. But not
so dominant.
Yeah, but not easy on the eye like Mick.
Yeah.
Keith Brewer would grind you to the... 3 hours free is normal to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't care if it took 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
He was a proper grinder. But I never ever beat that guy under the EPA rules.
Yeah.
I played him 5 times and I never won once. What happened? There's a rule change. So to go from dirty 2 shots EPA to world rules. A massive twist of fate for me.
Yeah.
I play in a South Shields pool league that's got the only rules in the whole of the UK.
Are the world rules.
Are the world rules. And I've been brought up from that Brunswick pool team on them rules. Nobody's got a clue. When them rules got brought in, nobody had a clue. And I had 10-year head start.
Yeah.
Right?
And
so
and money match games. He'd played money with them. And,
see the money match games. You see how I went from people unknown.
Yeah.
Right? It then went to the likes of Ronan McCarthy. Right? You're not talking about nobodies now, are you?
Yeah.
You're not talking about some kid 15 from Sunderland now. Because Farnsworth was nothing back then. Or Baines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Farnsworth's something now because what he's gone and achieved and shown, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back then, Ronan was a real daddy, you know what I mean? It was a real hardened... The likes of Mellon and Appleton and Hill wouldn't go to Ireland and play him, mate. And they were in their pomp at the time. They were in their pomp. Who does I ending up having a game with? Ronan. I plays him, Ronan. Fancy game with Ronan. Well, I didn't know who he was. You know what I mean? I didn't know who he was, mate. I knew he was a good player and he was a money player, but I didn't really realise his elk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think people in the pool world, right, just didn't give me a chance, mate. And it's realistically why they shouldn't give us a chance. I gave him the biggest hiding he's ever had that night, mate. I beat him 15-6. He was massive favourite.
Yeah.
15-6 I beat him, right?
Where was this played at? Was it local?
Was played in South Shields in a pub called in the Satellite. There's a pub. It's knocked down now. It's gone. It's flattened. I didn't just play Ronan. Previous to playing Ronan, I'd also played Carl Morris in the Satellite also, who was current world champion at the time. I played Mick Hill in the Satellite also, right? But I got to tell you this while I'm on it. I played Carl Morris in a social club, right? 28 years ago or something. And that's my new pool club now.
Never.
Can you believe that? That's the club I'm doing out now at this minute.
That's unbelievable.
I played him 28 years ago. I can remember the spot where we played in the middle of the floor. Now, when I'm decorating the club now and I'm doing it every day, I look at that spot. I think, yeah, that was mad. That, like, here I am now. I've got that club, you know what I mean?
And going back to fate, you always say fate. It works.
Always been fate. I told you about the book.
Yeah.
Thousands of books. where the guy lived, the tournament I'm playing in, you know, this is all meant to be, man, Kev.
Yeah.
You know? I was put on this planet to play pool.
Yeah.
I will believe it. I love it. I breed it. I got to bed thinking about it. The only other things I love are my family and my kids. You know?
Who do you enjoy watching? Do you enjoy watching a tactical game, or do you enjoy
You
a
know,
flair game?
I love to watch Mellon, right? Played Mellon in a money game also.
Yeah.
I lost 25-23, but what a match, mate. You know what I mean? We can talk about some of the players. I'll go through them. We'll not actually talk about them. I'll just tell you. But Ronan, we had 4 matches with Ronan, right? I'll beat the Ronan the first one, 15-6. Now, you see that night, I had just come off the back of an 11-10 defeat to Carl Morris after I led 10-8, right? I had come off a 15-14 defeat to Mick Hill, I think after I led 14-12, right? 2 big names there, lost on 2 deciders. And one of them, I should have won the one with Mick because I had him. I had him in a position in that game, right, where if I play the shot, which was world rules, right, he had 1 yellow left, and I've got it surrounded by reds. So my shot is, no, he had 2 yellows left. He's got 1 plugged in the left-hand corner, surrounded my balls, right? My shot is, get on the black, play the black full length, drop his, it's trapped in that corner. You can have that last yellow. That ball's killing you, mate. And the ball of the bag didn't drop at 14s each. It didn't drop the ball over the bag, so now he's got 2 shots. And he now uses his brain and he plays an amazing like combo, opens it all up, like fired off the open yellow and potted that one. Trusted a lot a bit, but I'd lost them 2 games in heartache fashion, right?
Yeah.
And now I've just beat Ronan. He says, however, double or squits, first of 5. I says, nah, not a chance, mate. I says, I've lost my last 2. I says, I've got that bit euphoria off this game tonight. You know what I mean? I've got that buzz. I don't want to lose it. I said, I'll give you a return. I'll play you in Ireland. He says, nobody comes to Ireland. Nobody comes to Ireland. Not one person's ever came to Ireland. I says, yeah, mate, give you me hand, right? I will come to Ireland and I will play you in Ireland. I swear to you. There's me hand, there's me heart. I'll come. Right, let's go out. So went out that night with Ronan. Even though I just beat him, I went out with him and his backers, went to Newcastle, ended up in some millionaire's house because you see, these Irish, they know people all over, you know. It's incredible, mate. I spent that night with Ronan and his pals, right? And they spent the night in a pal's house in Newcastle, some Irish guy. You know what I mean? I didn't know him. I'm up there with them in England. They had tennis courts and big. I was like, use something else. You know what I mean? Because to me, it was like a different world, you know. But these were Ronan's friends and his backers were big money backers, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had some great games with Ronan. You know, absolutely batters. And out of all the matches I played over my years, I enjoy playing him the most. And if you ever get Ronan on, he'll tell you, right, from his heart, that every time he played me, apart from the 15-6, we had the best battles, not just potting, right? This.
Yeah.
Because he's a great tactician as well, you know what I mean? Me and him, man, honestly, mixing it up, he was my best memories for money games. And one of my best performances was the 15-6. I've had 2 great money performances. All my money games, there's 2 performances that stand out better than any other performance. The one with Ronan, the 15-6, and my return from being out of nowhere, Craig Lakin in Derby, because they don't know what they let themselves in for them. They didn't know. They thought I was just... Reggie knew a little bit, but Craig knew nothing about it because I'd gone missing for 10 years.
Yeah.
I was out of the game for 10 years. And I get a phone call, do you want to be a stand-in? This is coming in. I've missed a lot of... This is coming into the future. I haven't picked my cue for 10 years, right? I don't even know if I can still play. I get a phone call off Kevin Cunningham, you know Kev Cunningham, grappler. He says, Bri, there's a kid drove up from Derby. He's supposed to be playing a money game up in Durham. He's got no one to play. Do you fancy going up and giving him a game? I says, Kev, I've never picked my cue up in 10 years, you know. I don't even know if I can still play, mate. He says, well, it's only £500, Brian. I says, Kev, however, I didn't know what you're going to get up. I didn't know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? Because what are you going to get, Kev? 10 years out of the game. Coming for a money game against a little hotshot who doing everybody at the time.
Who was he meant to be playing, do you know?
He was meant to be playing Bowering.
Oh, he was meant to be
Craig
playing
Bowering. Chris Bowering. That's it. He was supposed to be playing him. I think it was him anyway. It didn't happen. His opponent wasn't there. And I rocked up. Just, however, let's see what we've got, you know what I mean? And you can see it in the game, the first early part of that game, you can see it. I mean, I read some of the comments from people in the comments, right, which was so disrespectful, man, because these knew nothing about me, these people. And I replied to them all in time.
Mm.
They all got their own personal reply back from us when I read what I'd... Because I'm playing a match. You know what I mean? I'm not watching comments on the screen, but you know when I watched the match back, because it got streamed by Tsunami Streaming.
You can watch all the live kind of comments coming in.
Watch it still now. You see, if you wanted to watch that game now, you can still watch it.
I watched it. Do you know what? I remember watching it, and I remember watching that the skilly that you pulled off.
I mean, however, 10 years out of the game, mate.
Unbelievable.
I pull a shot like that off.
Yeah.
But that's Craig's own fault. Craig should have won that match that day. That was his match to win. Should not have won that game at all. I broke and went in off 15 times. 15 times I went in off in the same middle pocket, you know.
Yeah.
I broke white straight in the middle. I broke white straight in the middle. I broke white straight in the middle. I'm like, hey, I'm good at this. This was the way to play pool.
If all you had to do was put the white off the break, I'd be winning every...
I'd be world number one because I'm so consistent. I was doing it every time, Kev. But basically, he wasn't punishing us, and the game was staying close, right?
Yeah.
But he went 16. Oh, I think he went something like...
He went quite far ahead, didn't he?
Yeah, he went 16-10 up, right?
Was it 20? Was it 20 or 21 years? It was something...
21. We'll play the 21. We went 16-10 up, right? And he's probably thought in his own head, I've won this now, like. And it went something then to like... I think it was about 1914. He ordered 20 Jaeger bombs.
That'll be great.
I'm not kidding you. He ordered 20 Jaeger bombs, right? Reggie's face. He was like, what you doing with them? And he took the tray off Craig. He's like, no, you need one more. You need one more, 2 more frames. You're not getting them, right? See, when Reggie wasn't looking, he was flipping down in them Jaegers, man.
I met Craig on the IPA tour. I like him, he's a good kid.
Honestly,
he's a great laugh.
See, that night was hilarious, mate. That night was hilarious, right? But I know what was going on in Craig's head. I've got this. I'm going to win.
Get the Jaegers in.
Yeah, but you see what happened, right? He did have that game. He did have the win. But I pulled off probably one of the best money skill shots, right? You'll ever see.
Unbelievable.
It's going to take some topping that shot, mate.
I'll put that on. I'll stick it on the channel for people to see.
If you can,
yeah, I will.
Yeah, if you can stick that in, mate, because honestly, I'm up against the wall there. But you see this black, the skill shot. See if you can find the shot before it as well.
Yeah, well.
Because I've snookered on me last race.
You came off the side cushion. You came off the side cushion and potted it, didn't you?
Yeah, out the snooker. I popped me last race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm left with that. Nothing. I've got nout. I've got a double, treble, 3 cushion, back double.
Just a skilly will do.
From like the black on the cushion. You know what I mean? You're 1,000,000 to 1, mate. And it's not just like that far away.
Yeah.
It's halfway up the cushion.
It was a monster.
You're 1,000,000, mate. But you see, when I nailed that shot, right? I got my buzz come back. My 10-year out of the game disappeared.
Yeah.
I then started to reel the frames off. I started to dish. My game come backwards. And then the last
was it like 16 or 17 when you got that? It might have even been 2016.
2016.
I thought so. I knew you had to get quite a few. Like
otherwise, that game was over. The way his yellows were situated, no matter, even if he was mortal, he was still going to knock them in, right?
Aye.
Yeah. But he didn't knock them in because I saved the game, right? And then I dished. And then I think I dished. And then he got a chance where he was that mortal, he couldn't hold the cue. He let us in again. And then I did. Now I'm at 20 each. I break on the final break. Remember, I've gone in that middle pocket 15 times, right? I put my best break of the day in. Pot balls, pot the white in the middle of the table, right?
Plum.
And the ball comes round the table and knocks the white back in that same middle pocket. I'm like, how?
Yeah, what the?
You've got to be joking me, right? So he's got ball in hand, 2020, but he's mortal, Kev.
Yeah.
He's mortal. He can't even stand up. I'm thinking, you're not clearing them up.
I didn't know that. I mean, I remember watching it, but I didn't know anything from behind the scenes. Obviously, I wasn't there. I just watched the stream.
Gone, mate. He was mortal drunk, right? And I knew that last frame he couldn't beat us. It was a tactical frame. I'm really strong tactically, you know what I mean? That's what in the world in the Black Ball rules. I was such a good tactician because I knew when to play the right shots at the right time, and that also acted as an Achilles heel in my career because see, me buzzer early in my days didn't care, went for everything, aggressive as anything. As I was getting older and wiser and cleverer, I started to take my foot off the aggression pedal. And I'll beat you grinding you.
I was going to say that, bro, because like you said at the beginning of your career, you were called Buzzer because, you used to go around the table. As long as I've known you, you've always been an extra. You have to fucking scrape you off the table. Like your tactical brain's that's always been the thing that I look at you as. Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people around the north when they think of Buzzer, they think tactical. He'll grind you into a pulp on that table if you know what I mean. But I never thought that's how you started your career. Actually, the opposite way. Like you were the one that was going around kind of buzzing.
Full on aggression, man.
Yeah.
Full on attacking.
And it was just kind of as one came down, the other kind of lifted up.
I got to see, like, when you're watching, like, top of the range players, right?
Yeah.
They ain't playing like me. They ain't trying to clear up against you every time.
Unless you're Melon. Unless you're Melon, of course.
Unless you're Melon. Well, Melon's just another, like, but I love a Melon, right? And, like, when we talk about mindsets and brain sets early on, I played Mick Hill, I played Melon, I played Road. These are, like, big, tough, proper man. These are top of the tree. You didn't get any bigger than these fellas.
Yeah.
If I go into them games with a soft mindset, I might as well not play the game, right? There's the money, Chris. There's the money, Mick. There's the money, Ronan. And just give them the money.
Yeah.
Got to have that powerful mindset. And, like, if I could give a tip to anybody out there, young'uns, really, now if any young'uns watch this, my tip to the young'uns would be, have a positive mindset.
Yeah.
Always, even if you lose, take something positive out of it, no matter what. When you get beat 8-0, take something positive from it. Never come away stewing negativity. And I can tell you're a positive story, right, about negative and positive thinking. I was playing in a professional event on the World Rules Tour years ago, playing a fella called Steve Sedman. And he was a really good little player, he was. He had a brother called Paul. They were twins. They were really nice kids. They were. And I'm playing this, I don't know if it was Stephen or Paul, but there was 7-0 up first to 8 on us, right? And I'm sat in my chair, and this is where negative and positive thinking comes in. In a negative mindset, you're sulking and you're ready to get back into your room and you're ready to go home and you're beat and
You're already thinking
yeah,
about driving home. You're thinking,
yeah,
I'm out the door.
yeah, all negative, isn't it? Or the positive side is, well, I'm 7-0 doing, but give us a chance. Give us a chance and I'll show you what I can do. And I'll come back and I'll do it. That has to be the mindset.
Yes.
Whether you do come back or whether you don't come back, it has to be the mindset. And I come back in that game, I won 8-7. You know what I mean? I come back and won that match at 8-7, you know, and it's like
Jesus.
power of thinking. But even if you lose the game, your mindset's being right, you know.
Yes.
So if any young'uns are watching, keep that in mind. Never beat yourself up. Never put yourself down, you know.
You mentioned before, Brian, like you mentioned people like, you've like Brewers and then your Melons and all them. I mean, that's great company that you were in at the time. I mean, some absolute monsters of the game. Did you like to listen and study as well as play, Brian? So you like learn from these guys as well, or were you just?
Well, it wasn't really like that for me.
Yeah.
These were right. Like the people I'm talking about are the cream of the crop, mate.
Yes.
Mick, Darren, Chris, Phil, Carl, Kendall. They were the
Appleton.
hard. Darren, yeah, I think I said Darren for him. These were the hardcore tournament winners.
Yes.
Right. Now, these weren't only the hardcore tournament winners. These were also off the table, my friends.
Yeah.
They were my friends. We holidayed together. I roomed with them all. I got on great with everybody. I was just like them, but not a title winner, mate.
Yeah.
I wasn't a title winner. And the reason I wasn't a title winner was because I possessed an absolutely pathetic break, which I still do to this day. I possess a pathetic break. And I've always knew that my game was good enough to beat them people. You put any of them people on them podcasts and say, well, what was your game like with Bry? They'd say what you said. You got to scrape him off. He ain't giving you. He ain't gonna just let you play. He's gonna have to. You're gonna have to play to beat us, you know. But I have off days too. I have days where I turn up and I feel like I've got somebody else's arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, and then 9 o'clock morning matches, you know, when you might go to bed 2 or 3 and you're a bit rough and you've got to try and concentrate at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That happened with the greats too. I seen the greats turn in some absolutely terrible performances, you know. So, like, but when you watch them in this current day, like, I'm going to give a big up to Lee Kendall here, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
What he's doing with the Ultimate Pool Group is just like, he's taken pool of another level now. Yeah. You've got to remember, I've watched all the changing of the gods, mate. I've watched all the promoters, all the players come and go. But you see, Mr. Kendall and the team he's got around him, he's a winner, him, man.
I remember I had Darren Appleton on, and I asked Darren about the state of pool today, and I said, "How do you think? Who do you think would do a good job?" And he mentioned Lee, and he said because of Lee's wealth of knowledge. I mean, he might have known something in the pipeline because it was like last year, but otherwise he might not. But because he's known Lee for so long, and I said, he just said because of Lee's wealth of knowledge and because he's got pool running through his blood. Basically, he lives and breathes it.
Well, you'll find pool players have got that blood type.
Yeah.
I've got it, you've got it, Darren's got it, Mick's got it, Chris got it, Phil's got it. There's loads of us got it, but some of the blood courses deeper.
Yeah.
Than others.
Yes.
Whereas Lee Kendall's blood, right, courses pool. Yeah. I'll tell you a little interesting fact on Lee Kendall. I don't know if you know it. Do you know he is the longest serving captain of any professional sport in the world? Did you know that?
No.
Of any team. of any sport. He's the longest serving captain.
It's unbelievable.
He's been the England man's pool team captain for over 30 years, and he holds the title. He's the longest serving captain. Isn't that mad, eh?
That's mental.
There's a bit useless information for you.
That's not useless. That's class.
But like mainly like that, and I had to give him a big upright because what he's doing in the pool, and up here in the northeast, when I get my new club open, I'm pushing his rules because I really believe these are the rules.
Is that the new the Supreme rules? Is that what they're called?
The ultimate pool group rules, but they're classed as the Supreme rules. Have got a few tweaks in.
Okay.
But what he's doing with the TV and an announcement yesterday with Phil Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about that. Phil Taylor's coming on. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I said, because I knew there was somebody going to be coming on as a special, like on a wild card, but someone special. And when I heard it was Phil Taylor, I was thinking, I couldn't have heard that right. Phil Taylor? I knew he was coming out of retirement, but I didn't really know. But I didn't think he was going to pick up a pool cue.
I think it's brilliant.
I think it's unbelievable. I think it's a great move.
Marketing genius, I see. There'll be a lot of skeptics out there, right, saying, that's daft, that. You got a dart player playing in a pool tournament. They're not seeing like the true logic of what's really going on there.
Yeah.
Pool is at this minute in time at the best place I've ever seen it. Ever. I've never seen pool in England with our 7x4 tables be in a better place than it is now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in the whole time. Normally, it's always been promoters out to get what they can get and not looking out for the pool player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe Lee Kendall and his team are going to change all that, man.
Mm.
I think this is going to be it. It's going to be the kickstart. I left the IPA Association to go with Lee.
Yeah.
You know, because I see the future. And he's my mate as well also. So I showed me loyalty too, you know what I mean? But I spent a lot of good years on the IPA, you know. I'm not here to slate any associations.
Yeah.
I'm not here to put anybody down. I'm not here for anybody to rip what I'm saying.
I enjoyed the time I had on the IPA, like I say, yeah.
I had a great time, but near my end of it, the IPA, it didn't feel right for me no more. It wasn't what I had set out to go do. I didn't feel like I was part of a special clique, to be truthful with you.
Right.
And for that reason, that was why I left. Because also I'll have to mention my sponsor also here, which is Jarrow MOT Centre.
Yeah.
He sponsored me on the IPA for 4 years for me to market, for sponsorship, for me to get him a bit streaming coverage, you know. So he paid a lot of money on me to send me there. I mean, he still got promoted on my TV events when I played in the Champions Cup, but I never got that proper fair share of the streaming.
Yeah.
And I would bring it to the table many times. I'd bring it up, Howie. And like 4 years later, I'm still not on there.
Yeah.
This guy's not getting a shout. I'm telling it to these people. You know what I mean? How I can't give my guy. He spent a fortune over the years to just give us one shot. You know what I mean? I never got that shot, mate. And I found it unfair, and I just felt it's clicky. You know, and I'm a bit me. I'm a pride kind of guy as well.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I like to do things fair.
Yeah.
I'm a man of fairness, and I just don't believe that was being fair to me and others. I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for others also. But I wish them well too, you know. I don't hold any regard. I don't hold any hatred or nothing, you know.
Do you think there'll ever be I mean, it might just be, you know, wishful thinking, but do you think there'll ever be kind of like harmony between governing bodies, or do you think there'll always be the needle and people try to go against each other? Like, obviously, with so many different governing bodies, you just never know, because you just want everyone to get on, and as long as there's plenty of pool competitions out there, it's going to please people. But I suppose if the higher you get up as well, amateurs, of course, the more competitions you get, the better. But when it comes to professionals, you'll have to kind of put your heart in one stall type, if you know what I mean. So they're trying to kind of. I don't
think they'll ever pull together, mate. To be truthful with you, this has gone on too long.
Yeah,
it's gone on for as long as I've been in the game. 36 years, you know what I mean? It's gone on all
You've seen so
that
many
period.
different changes, haven't you?
I've seen EPA rules go to world rules.
Yeah.
I've seen world rules go to black ball rules. Then I've seen black ball rules. Now I've swapped again. I've been black ball completely. I don't even play a frame of black ball now. I won't enter no more black ball tournaments. So people in the Northeast probably got miss me a little bit.
Oh, that's the one I beat you in as well.
But a lot of the people in the Northeast also, they'll also say, I'm glad he's not in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's really good for me now is because mad for me, I've gone full circle.
Yeah.
And I mean full circle, because you see the way I'm playing again now. I'm not hanging pockets anymore. My days
you were saying you're playing really well at the moment.
Really good, mate, and it's these rules that's made it that way.
Yeah.
Because you got nowhere to hide, right, by hanging a pocket. That time for hanging a pocket is there, but it's got to be there at that time. You know what I mean? If you're just hanging bags in these rules, they're going to come back and slap you in the face.
Yes.
Because it's a disadvantage. you actually didn't want the ball over the bag.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to put his onto it. And then he takes that bag.
Oh, you can just take the bag without the skilly, can you? You can just take the
you've got to play. You've got to play from there. There is some great tactical shots in it all. Because you know what I mean? I'm a tactic. It's still in us, right? But I'm not fudging like I used to. But I got a bad rep me for that, But when you've got a will to win, right, you'll understand why. When I'm playing with people's cash, you want me to win, didn't you?
100%.
So I'm playing with your cash. You don't care how I win as long as I win, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that's me. If I got a bit in my money games, I got a couple of opponents that came my way, right? That were made for me. They were made for me when they were coming to my venue. Shane Thompson's an example. Shane's beaten everybody for money, man. Beating them all. But I know what his game is. And I know if I get him on Buzzer's table with my tight pockets, he ain't got a chance. You know what I mean? That's Shane. Because I'm going to get him on my table and the pockets are so tight, you're going to get drawn into my game. And before you know it, you're drawn into my game and you forgot how to play your game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not easy on the eye, Kev, what I do to win a money game. It's not easy on the eye, but it's not about being easy on the eye. It's about me winning you that cash and me coming out of that game with that victory. I didn't care if I've dished you once in 50 frames.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as I get that frame in the bank. And at that time, I played Shane on that table and I won easy, mate.
Yeah.
I beat him easily. And if you look at some of his results in his money games, and that was because I got him on my table, right? I didn't get where's he from? Bridgend, somewhere like that. I didn't go to Bridgend and play him on a bucket table.
Yeah.
They wanted a crack at me, mate. Yeah, they got the crack at me, but they came on my table. So if anybody does want to come and have a crack at me, you're welcome to come and play on my table. I'm going to fudge the life out of you.
You've played loads of when you talk about the names of people you've played money wise. I know you mentioned Mark there. You've mentioned Carl. You mentioned Mellon, Mick Hill. Tom Cousins is another one.
Mark Selby twice.
Mark Selby. I mean,
twice.
These are massive names in pool, huge. Which has been. I mean, I know you said you loved the ones with Ronan. You said that you absolutely love them. Is there any others that stand out? Or, because, like you say, when you've played that many, I mean, if you've had a couple of money matches, you can always kind of pick on them. But the fact that you've had that many of them, do any of them just stand out, or do they all just kind of blur together after you've had that many?
I remember them all.
Yeah.
I still remember them all. I played like 68 games or something. Played 68 money games. My record was, considering, right, the caliber of players that I played against. Do you know me percentage? Like overall, it was 66.6. Was me win rate 66.6%.
I'd take that win rate any day.
Well, if you stick them names in the mix, it's not a bad ratio.
No.
I'll tell you who gave us the biggest booting. The biggest booting I got was by Carl Morris.
Yeah.
In the satellite. Hey, he destroyed us, mate. Honestly, I think I was it was 1st to 15. I was 12-1 down. The kid just didn't miss. You know, it was like playing a computer.
Yeah.
No matter what I did, I either got dished, fudged, just wasn't behind from the break. I just wasn't in the game at all. You know, when it's just one of them games where it's just not your game, Kev.
Yeah.
No matter, you come to the table, you pot a ball off the break, he ain't got a shot. He's potting all over the pockets. No matter what.
Off the lampshades, just potting them from everywhere.
Whatever you do goes wonky, and whatever he does turns to goals, you know what I mean? But he gave us the biggest booting, and I lost 15-6. That was my worst scoreline against all these top dogs. But I look back at all these games, man, and I'm kind of proud for having the balls.
Yeah.
To keep playing, you know what I mean? And like people would say, Brian, why do you take on all these top players? Are you mad? I'm like, no, I'm not mad. I know I can win, man.
Yeah.
And they're like, aye, but it's such and such. I says, there you go, man. You've got the wrong side. You've got the wrong mindset, man. Aye, it's such and such. You're just letting the name beat you. It's what you're doing. Aye, it's such and such. So what? So what if it's such and such? What if it's not such and such day, like? What if it's my day? You know, and if you take their scalp, mate, you got a little more wound. I might have took Mick's, but I wounded him. I mightn't have took Morris's, but I wounded him as well. I mightn't have took Selby's. I wounded him. I give them all games, mate. The only one that really, really destroyed us was Carl Morris. But he played a great game, you know what I mean?
You mentioned before you took some, you had 10 years out. I know some of that time you was spent over abroad in America. How did you find yourself on the plane going over there?
Fate again. It's in somebody else's hands, this one. What had happened was there was something circulating on the internet where if you filled a certain member a form in, IPT it was called, right? If you fill a certain form in, this billionaire is putting a tournament together where he wants 150 players. If you didn't fill the online sheet in, you haven't got a prayer, right?
Mm.
So a lot of people just took this as pie in the sky and didn't even bother filling the sheets in. But some people took it for real and filled the sheets in. I'm sure it was Darren Appleton that put me onto it. Right, you need to get online, fill that sheet in, right? I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So if he hadn't put me onto it, I wouldn't have happened, you know what I mean? So that was a twist of fate in itself. Darren telling me to fill that form. I fills the form in, I sends it away. Now, what's happening is a billionaire in America wants to make his own tour. He wants to handpick the players. He wants them all dressed in suits. He wants to raise the image. He wants it all on TV. And he wants to give mega prize money. And I mean mega prize money. $5,000 last place.
Hello.
Yeah. 150 runners. Jesus. And last place is on 5,000. So what's first place on?
Exactly. Jesus.
A million. More money than snooker.
Aye.
Yeah. So this billionaire guy, he picked us. as one of the 150 applications. There was thousands online, mate. Had my application in his hand. It was up to him whether he put it in the bin or he put us on the, I'm having him pile. And he put us on the I'm having him pile. Now, I didn't know who the other 149 players were. I just knew I'd been picked. And it was really mad, right? Because this is mad, this is true. We've got to go all meet now the billionaire in America who's being picked, right? So I don't know. I know Darren's being picked. I know Mick's being picked. I know Chris is being picked. I know Morris is being picked. I know Phil Harrison's being picked. And I know myself. This is from the UK. I don't know. There's two others from the UK. I didn't know who they are. But there's two more. So it gets to go meet this billionaire, right? And I sit in this chair with a room full of superstars. And I mean a room full of superstars, mate. I'm looking across the room, right? There's Efren Reyes, Bustamante, Earl Strickland's over there, flipping this one, that one. You know, like everybody who we've seen, Ralph Souquet, best German player, best Spanish player, the young Chinese player, Wu, who just won the World Championship in 9-balling years ago. Wu, I was sat next to him, he was eating soup. I was like, hey, he won the World Championships, you know what I mean? And then I feel somebody sit next to us, right? And this is true. And I looked, and I was like, no way. It was Jimmy White. Honestly, I was like, no way, it's Jimmy White, right? And then I felt somebody sit next to us on the right-hand side, and I looked. It was Ronnie O'Sullivan. I was sat in the middle of the two of them.
Like, what am I doing here? Like, what's going on?
Exactly. I was like, this is madness. This like, we could not make this up. And
there you were there for a reason, though.
I'd been picked by the billionaire for playing IPT, which all turned out to go wonky donkey, by the way, right? It all went wrong. But I got my best memories and moments of my pool career from America. Yeah. Because I got to meet my coach, my mentor, my biggest inspiration in my life, my surrogate dad, Freddie the Beard.
The legend himself.
You looked up on him, didn't you?
I certainly did, mate, yeah.
Some legend.
Absolutely unbelievable.
You couldn't script what that fella done. And I found myself...
It's Bentavini, isn't it? That's how
Freddie the Beard Bentavenia.
Bentavenia, that's it.
Passed away now. But, you know, I told you the story, didn't I? I bought a book on the internet looking for the diamond system. So I've been picked to play in the IPT on American tables. I know the Filipinos and the Americans, they know the diamond system. I know the English, we don't know it. I tell you now who does know it. Chris Mellon knows it. Because I watch him, right, doing something. I taught you about a parallel shift, didn't I? I watch Mellon doing it when he's played the last couple of weeks. You know when he's snookered?
Yeah.
Watch what he does. He holds his cue out, yeah? And then he does a sideward movement. He's finding the angle mathematically, and then he's moving parallel.
Chris tried to show me how to do that.
I'll show you how to do it.
It was
Did you learn it?
We were at a mutual friends, and he was there we were there and we were talking about it, and he tried to show us it. It wasn't like totally in depth because we were just kind of showing us that we were driving up to Ashington on the drink. So, but he quickly showed us it, and it's kind of where you stand back and you look beyond the cushion and you look at it. But he was telling us that. So obviously you're nodding, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But he didn't have time for us to learn it, but I could see what he was doing, and then I see him now when I see him on the telly, and obviously I see him doing it, and that's where people see he pulls off these insane shots. Obviously, the 9-ball clearance heard around the world which he did with the balls going right round.
The only shot I didn't see in that clearance was his opening shot.
Yeah,
you see that amazing clearance he done. The only shot I didn't see in that whole clearance, I seen the black.
Yes,
you know the black at the end, the last ball to get on the black. I saw that. The only shot I didn't see in that clearance was...
Where he plays a plant cannon type of thing.
Aye. What a clever shot that was.
Very clever.
Wasn't it? He flicked off the ball.
Off the side cushion, knocked it in.
Yeah. That was a great shot.
Well, he had to play it with the pace for the ball to just stop as it was coming up. Very, very clever.
But Mellon is honestly, he's just he's something else.
Such a nice kid of our life.
The balls are not. I really like Chris. Like I've been all hour with him, right? Yeah. I got a close bond with him. I have for all them lot, you know, and I feel for myself, right? Because I'll be truthful with you. I was complete at all them people. The only one I struggled with was Chris.
Yeah.
I had a really good record with Mick. See, on head-to-heads, I had a really good record with Mick. I had a good record with Phil.
Yeah.
I had a good record with Darren. I had a good record with Kenny, Lee Kendall. Who am I missing? Rob Hill, the number 2, by the way, who was started this journey on. Do you know I played him 10 times and I never lost him? I never lost him.
He must hate you.
I became his boogie player.
Yeah.
And you know what? Previous to that, I talked about Keith Brewer beat us 5 times under the APA rules. Do you know he never ever beat us again in his career?
Did he not?
After that, I beat him every single time at World Rules. Every time. He never beat us once, man. But there were some players that you could just have it with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some players. I'll tell you one player who's my jinxer. Currently. Carl Sutton.
Yeah.
He's my boogeyman, him, man. He just plays mint against us every time I turn up. And I didn't turn up. Every time I play him, I didn't turn up. I'm like, what is it when I play him? I play like a proper bag of caca. But
so how did this comp go tits up? What happened to the guy, the billionaire?
Something happened in America where they changed the gambling laws for online gambling. Now the poker online. They changed the laws in America right in the midst of the sponsor tournament being sponsored by Party Poker.
Right.
So when they banned the online gambling, like you couldn't play poker online in America, they banned it. And one of the main sponsors was Party Poker. That had something to do with it. But I remember we met the billionaire, right? He talked his speech. Everybody stood up. I'll clap like it was some kind of high god. This is the man for pool. Here he is. He's finally here. You know what I mean?
The legend himself.
And it didn't turn out that way. Like, but the first speech he was the god, pool god. There he is, Kevin Trudeau, the pool god. See, when he done his third speech, I said to Mick Hill, right, something up with him. Something not right here, mate. I'm telling you now, there's something up with him. And sure enough, there was. Because I watched these, you know, when you're a pool player, now body language.
Yeah.
You learn body, if you're a watcher like I am, right? I know when you're happy as a pig and you know what.
Yeah.
Right? I'll also be able to pick out when you're distressed and you're not happy and you're uncomfortable. See that first meeting he did? He was buoyant, he was bubbly, he was
charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
everyone's
vibes
buzzing off him. Yeah, everyone's like, yes.
The vibes he fed off were just unreal, right? But then on the third meeting, it wasn't the same. I said to Mick, I don't know if you ever get Mick on. Yeah, ask him some of the American stuff, right? Because his body language wasn't the same. He was negative, and we never played another event after that.
Yeah.
All went wonky. So I had give up English pool, handed in my professional ticket. Off I go to play American 8-ball, not 9-ball. I've never been a 9-ball player, Kev. Yeah. I never will be a 9-ball player. Because I just think it's too lucky. It's a skillful game, but it's very lucky. I bossed my nut that game on. So that's why I've never been a 9-ball player. But 8-ball in America is a really good game. American 8-ball. Now Lee Kendall's new rules. It's the same. These are the same rules. So the worldwide, these people might think these are some concocted up, knocked in the back shed rules. They're not. They're on your mini clip game on your phone. These are worldwide rules, mate. These are going to take it from me. You heard it first from me. The ultimate pool rules are going to take our. So the America thing, I come back from there, and there's now to playing. American table-wise, there's nothing to playing. I've given me English ticket up, so I'm just like, nah, that's me done. I'm done. I'm not playing pool no more. I became a football manager after that. I actually went through a hard time. I'll not go deep into it, right?
Yeah.
But I went through a little period in my life, right? And I'm going to hide an apology out to any opponents I ever played in the last 2 years. If I came across as a bit stroppy and a bit unsportsmanlike after the defeat, I apologise, because I was going through a rough ride and I was punishing the love which was me pool and the people around it, which I shouldn't have done. So anybody who I might have upset in that period, I just want to put my hand up and say, I'm sorry. I'm not that type of person. I was just losing the plot a bit. Not, you know what I mean? I was just so many like life hard-hitting things hit us, you know, at a period, and I took it out on the wrong thing. So if there's anybody out there who watches this who I offended or upset, sorry. I had to get that in there.
No, mate, honestly, no, you're right.
I might never get the chance to do that again. So
of course.
Thank him for letting us stick that little 2 bobs worth in.
No
but
bother,
see me, I wear my hand on my heart, right? And my plan for the rest of my time now is to still continue. I'm looking to do some kind of training stuff. I've also got something in my brain, which I talked to you about, which I need to get out there again. I need to get out. I have a system for playing pool myself. I play by numbers.
Yes.
I'm probably the only pool player that that plays by numbers. And I've got a system and techniques and things in my brain that I just need to put down on paper, and I can help. I can bring young'uns on, right, from the off, if I can get this somehow written down, you know what I mean? That's kind of need a bit of help type thing.
Well, no problem. I will put a link to all your to your emails as well on there. Anybody that listens who thinks that they might be able to help there, then they're more than willing to get in touch with you and see about getting something down. And there might be a business venture in there for someone.
Could be, because what's in my brain is very knowledgeable. It's 100 years worth of secrets in this head, right?
Yeah.
And they were given to us by Freddie the Peon. Not all given by him.
Yeah.
But when I was there with him, I mean, this guy trained Efren Reyes, you know.
Yeah.
And Earl Strickland. And I'm under this guy's wing. You can't make this up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about fate again. Can't make these things up, you know what I mean? And the knowledge that guy gave me. When I found out 10 years later that Fred had passed away, the first thing I did was got me cue back out the box and started training again.
Yeah.
And if you watch any of my money games, go back 4 or 5 years ago and have a look at the top that I'm wearing. It says "Bang on, brother." It was gave to me by Fred. So when I'm playing these money games, he's kind of with us. And it's a bit back to him.
Yes.
What he trained and learned me. It's in my brain. I haven't been playing, Kev. Yeah. I've got so much in here, right? That's been given to us by this fella. Like proper, like American secrets, you know. Like that have been held secret. Nobody's been given them. But Mellon knows these secrets. Mick Hill knows them as well. And I think Carl Boyes also knows them. I think Darren knows them too. Well, I'm pretty sure Darren knows them because he's become like an absolutely awesome American 9-ball player, hasn't he?
Oh, just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, just
Darren,
there's nothing that he hasn't won.
Just And, I always never thought that Darren had the temperament for that game.
Yeah.
Because his nickname was Dynamite.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Dynamite for now, It was Dynamite because he could explode at any time.
Yeah.
That's why his name was. That's why his nickname was Dynamite. Couldn't have had a better nickname, really. But as I say, these were the people like I grew hardened with.
Yes.
I was like in with a group of vipers, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they were my mates, and I picked bits of all of their games.
Who would you say that? I mean, I know you mentioned Ronan being like one of the best games like you've had. Who would you say has been kind of in your mind your toughest opponent? Where I mean, I know you said you got done in off.
He wasn't my toughest opponent. It was just that one day.
Who was your toughest opponent where you've kind of looked back and thought, Jesus Christ, he was hard to play? It's like, I'm sure people think that way about you, but is there anyone like who would you think personally is your toughest?
Playing.
No, your toughest opponent, like even a mutual respect. Just I mean, I know you mentioned Brewer was rocket them rules.
Probably got to be Farnsworth, man.
Yeah.
For me personally, because we're 8 miles apart.
Yeah.
Me and Farnsworth have had a few ricks. You know what I mean? We're not like. I'll always have respect for Mark. Yeah. Always, or we've got so many years in the bank between us. We'll have a few ricks between us, but I'll always respect him. You know. Always, and I'll never let a bit of drink get in the way of us, because basically I had a little rick with a drink, not me because I didn't drink, but playing him, mate, honestly, it's just. But he's not like the hardest. The hardest was Mick. Mick Hill was without a doubt the hardest player to play against. But I even knew when I had Mick rattled. Because he'd keep his cheeks scarred bright red. Now, in a dark body language and people giving things away, that was Mick's giveaway. If you had Mick rattled, his cheeks would go bright red. Mad, that, man. That's what I observed on him. So if I see Mick's face go red, I knew I had him. But he done me a good. Well,
I saw Mick. I think the last time I saw me and a couple of lads went to Mick's. There was a competition on at his club, and I went down with Lee and Trevor Walton, and we went on the drink, and we entered Mick's. Mick had this big competition on. And anyway, I think I beat Shane in the semis. And I woke up with the runners-up money in my pocket the next morning. I was like, I couldn't even remember getting to the final. I got beat off, what's he called? You'll know who he is. Ralph Winfield. Ralph
with the glasses.
Yeah.
Ralph Winfield.
Yeah, great guy.
I remember Ralph. From Yorkshire, he had his own
club, yeah. Ralph beat us in the final, but I can't remember because I'd been drinking with Lee and bloody Trevor all day. So kind of.
I was lovely bloke, him, Ralph. I don't know where he's at now, right? But
I haven't seen him since I went to Nick's.
He was he was a Yorkshire lad, Ralph was. And Mick was from, was it Heckmondwike. That's where Phil was from, Heckmondwike. And I could have nailed him for years, right? He played me a story, right, for years. He told me that Seth, right, from that programme, Emmerdale Farm, was his next door neighbour. And I believed it, because I was gullible. They could tell me anything, you'd believe it. He says, I live in Heckmondwike. He says, you'll never believe who my next door neighbour is. It's Seth off Emmerdale Farm. I'm like, why I? Of course it is, mate. And I was in Yorkshire one day and I seen that Seth in a garage. You know which one I mean? That old fellow with a great eye. From Emmerdale.
Aye.
I'm in Leeds, next to where he lives, and I sees him in a garage, and I've just automatically believed Mick was telling the truth. And for years he wasn't even Mick's neighbour.
Just pulling your leg.
But I bumped into the real guy in the garage, and I was like,
that's mental. That's fate again, mate. Hey, you've got to stop this fate.
Bizarre, isn't it? Couldn't make this up, Kev. It's all true, man. I wouldn't come on here and waffle and make myself look like a turkey, mate. I'm not a waffler. I tell the truth.
Right. But who would you love to play? Is there anybody that you haven't played? I mean, I know you've gone through, there's loads of names that you've played. Is there anybody now that you'd, like that's
Yeah,
on
I'd
the
love to
scene.
play him. There's one person I'd love to play just at this minute, right? But it's not going to happen, right? But I'd love to play Gav Robinson.
Gav.
Yeah, and it's just a thing with me and him. But like, I'm a man of pride, me, mate. Right? I've been around the block many times, and I go by respect levels, you know. And I think he dissed us a little bit. I was there for the game. I never call games off. You set a game up with me, it's on, it's in place. I won't pull no plug on you. Throughout my whole time playing money games, I turned up. I never once was a no-show, you know. So that game for me and Gav was there, and then it wasn't there. And he's one that I'd really just like, because he's improving, you know, he's good, but I just like to put him in his place. You know what I mean?
I think everything's opening up again. There might be a game.
But I don't think it'll happen now, mate, because like, for one reason, I'm out of that black ball scene now.
Right, yeah.
I am an IM player now. These are my rules. These are the rules that I will push forward.
Well, you never know. Like you say, if the rules do change and everybody seems to go onto these rules, but I suppose
just logistically as well, like for what's gone on in the past, I just wouldn't play the game now anyway.
Right.
Like on a personal note, I wouldn't play it. But if there was one that I could play, it would be Gav. But it's not going to happen, mate.
And what do you think of like your other like northeast rivals, the other lads around the
north?
Well,
you know yourself how strong the standard is.
Very, very strong in the north.
Yeah. My most liked Geordie player is Michael Rhodes. I absolutely love Michael, right? And I also really like. I spent a week with them, right? A pair of them in China, right? Gary Wilson and Elliot Lesser. Like, I'd never met them two guys before, you know what I mean?
Absolute legends, man. I love
grounded.
Them both. Yeah,
you know, for snooker like players, like they're so grounded, you know.
Yes.
And I really got on with them too. I got on with them like that. I'd only just met them, and I found them they were coming to my club because I had a Chinese table in my club, and they were coming, and he was using my cue, Gary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was using my and there was something happened in China, right, Kev? It was great because it was just one of them moments where you couldn't like wish for better to happen. Them two never jumped the ball in their life because they're snooker players, right? So we're on the practice table. There's me, Elliot, and Gary. And I didn't have it was Elliot or Gary says, Bri, can you jump the ball? I was like, why, of course. Do you not know how to jump, mate? He's like, no, we're snooker players, man. We didn't know how to jump. We didn't know how to jump balls. Well, I wasn't the greatest to jump as, but I knew how to jump, right? And you won't believe the jump shot I knocked in, mate. It was ridiculous on the Chinese table. I put the weight in the jaws of the corner pocket. I put a ball in front of it. And I put the ball on the blue spot, right? Oh, and he nails it first time straight to the top pocket of the Chinese. Just give the cue, Gary. I says, that's how you play, Gary. It's easy, man. He's like, what's that? Oh, you play a shot like that? It's easy, man. It was 1 in a million, Kev.
Like walked out thinking, how to manage that? Like Gary's still thinking, how did he does it all the time, every time?
But like, in a couple of years later, right? Like, I see Elliot beating Ronnie on this, and I'm like, hey, go on, Elliot, lad. And I see Gary getting semi-final of the World Championships. And
he's like, against the Crucible again this year against Kieran Wilson first round.
You know what? This is a good chance, you know, because you'll find that certain players at certain venues just turn up.
He hasn't had the best year, and even he knows he hasn't had the best year. But
he might turn up there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's got nothing to prove to himself this year. He just wants to get the. I mean, it's a great finish to the year for him. You know what I mean? He's got some good cracking bit of coin in there, some ranking points. Obviously, Gary's been in top, nearly the top 16. Like so. He wants to do better, obviously, you know, in his own heart, he wants to do better. Yeah, he knows he can beat these lads at the top. Elliot's been to the Crucible now, and you know, Elliot's been on here a few times. Even he was at the Worlds, and he was coming on here and like other competition, coming on like just on his break. He's got 10 minutes to kill, coming on for a bit crack, and honestly, just absolute salt of the earth. The pair of them, like
proper down to earth, aren't they?
Yeah. I've been through. I mean, I've got to give a shout out to Paul Rinaldi's place as well. I go to Paul's at the North East Snooker Centre. He's got it open for, and the lads practice out there. They've both got their own star table in there that they practice on. So they've both got the key. Obviously, it was shut down, but they were allowed to go in and practice if it wasn't for them. You know, if it wasn't for Paul doing that, they don't have a table at home. So if it wasn't for that type of hand, that type of help, you know what I mean, their careers might have been a bit quieter, do you know what I mean? So thank God they had someone like Paul to do that.
He's been a massive asset to Elliot and Gary.
Oh, massive.
Because you need people, you see, like myself, I've got Jarrow MOT Centre as my headline sponsor.
Yes.
I like
Davey.
But Davey's been absolutely brilliant with me.
Great lad, great guy.
Like, as I say, I had a few personal stuff going on, and in a bad time where, like, the biggest events that were on was not really the time you wanted to be going through a bad time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what happened with me, and I felt a little bit like let the side down because I wasn't performing like a battery life type thing, 100% battery, you know, I'm firing on 59%, you know what I mean? And I'm playing great players. My draws were stinking, me. On them Supreme Series, my draws were, ugh. If I labelled and went through my draws on that Supreme Series, you would say, no way, Brian. Do you know, I played in 10 events, right? And in them 10 events, I'm going to list you the players that I drew in the first round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I drew Mick Hill, Tom Cousins, Clint Ianson, Declan Brennan, Gareth Hibbert, John McAllister, Sean Chipperfield, Adam Davis twice. These are my first round draws, you know. I'm like, no, you can't make it any gives a chance of one.
Exactly. You know that you're never really going to get an easy game, but there's got to be easier games than that. There's got to be easier games.
These were the draws I was pulling. Yeah. I think out of the names I named there, I drew Gillespie, Scott. He'd won 2 of them. I drew Declan. He'd won 1 of them. I drew Clint. He'd won 1 of them. I drew Gareth Hibbert. He got in the final of 1 of them. Everybody I drew was there somewhere about. The only ones I didn't draw was Boyle, Dunster and Farnsworth.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was sick of the sight of playing Farnsworth.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't play him again, you know what I mean? Because in competition, he's been booting me like an empty can around the road, you know what I mean? Lately, like, I found it very difficult to beat Mark. Like, I know I can, but on them black ball rules, I've been 80-20.
Yeah.
Probably been a fair estimate of the scoreline, but we always give us some proper hammerings, like. But I believe under these new rules, I'll come into my own, me. I think Buzzer's going to give a few people a shot, you know. I really do. I think a few people got me down out and on the canvas.
Yeah.
But I'm a happy guy in my life again now, mate. I've got everything sorted. I think if you're happy off the table, you're happy on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at now. I'm in a happy place.
Oh,
I got a beautiful new club getting built, which is like 4 weeks away.
Is it 4 weeks away from being open?
4 weeks away. But this club is the best club I've ever done.
Yeah.
It is really, from top to bottom, brand new. And I've never had it that way. I've always been going in a bit like, not so nice. This building, everything works.
Right.
The last building I was in, that worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm working for a billionaire company that won't give us a half glass or fix a plug. And I did it for 6 years, and I'm like, I cannot work with these people anymore.
Yeah.
They really are just for billionaires. How did they become billionaires? They're stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've got a diamond with me. They've got an absolute diamond. I've got pool credentials. I've got something that most pool licensees can't give, you know what I mean? And I just said to them in the end, I says, I'm a diamond that you've lost, but I'm sure somebody else will come and pick us up. You know what I mean? Exactly. And I got picked up immediately.
No doubt.
Like immediately, you know, and I've gone from like a really bad building to a beautiful building, and I've given out away. Nobody's seen or knows now. Nobody's seen it, what's getting done. Nobody knows. It's when they walk through them doors on the first day and they see what I've put together. And my son, or Jordan, he's my little business partner.
Right, you'll have to drop us. Are you having an opening night or?
You can come on my opening night. It's going to be on May the 17th. Got an invite for you and your missus and anybody else you'd like to bring along.
Me and Roddy will come along.
Come, I bring Michael. because I like
Me and
Michael.
me missus, me and Michael will come along.
Bring your missus, bring Michael.
No, I meant Michael's me missus, so I'll bring him over.
I rang him yesterday. I said, Michael, have you missed this? He just burst through laughing. He was like, "You're mad, you brother." He says, "You are my favourite little madman, like."
Yeah.
Because I just do everything with a laugh and a smile, Kevin. Like, I have been a bit serious on the pool, bit like our serious, which as I say, I apologise for anybody I might have like rubbed up the wrong way. I'm not that type of person, mate.
Yeah.
But the future for pool, I think, is really coming. Like,
Yeah.
I really do. And I watch these young'uns on the telly because I want to talk about the young'uns. There's three of them. I didn't know anything about any of them. Not a little bit about one of them. Aaron Davies.
Yes.
See him being like a real tough cookie.
He's a handful already.
Oh, he's going to dominate in a few years. Him. Young Gio.
Edgar.
Young Scott kid. Yeah, Edgar, yeah. I saw
him pull off a shot on YouTube. There was a supreme shot that he plays off the side rail, and he come down and he just
he's got nothing to play in, has he?
Oh no, he's got no gap, and that's it. So he's a young kid, but that shows some knowledge and some balls.
So he's got like an older head on his shoulders.
He's got the game.
And this young kid I watched on Monday who drew melon in that tournament, that young Luke Gilbert.
Yeah,
like he pulled out some absolutely brilliant clearances. Like for a young kid, they're going on TV up against a legend like Melon. Like, don't get us wrong.
He's pattern play as well. He's pattern play as well. You can see.
Yeah. You see if that kid had gotten off to a good start, he would have beat Mellon.
Yeah.
Because he should have been 4-1 up, in my opinion. That young kid, he should have been 4-1 up, and then he knocked a couple of good dishes in, midway through the frame. So he could have won that match. But the reason he didn't win it, I'll tell you why he didn't win it, because he was playing Chris Mellon. It was the first time on TV.
Going back to exactly what you said at the beginning, it's the mindset.
Right, mate. But he's got to learn this. The young kids, they're all that comes. But if they listen to this podcast, or whatever we're doing, a Zoom, I don't know. Tell you, I wasn't very good at technology. Mate.
I'll see if Gio and that want to come on. I'll drop them a message and see if they
give them the heads up. Like if they're ever in this area, they're playing any tournaments, come see Buzzer. If I can give any hints or tips, I'd give them, mate. I was giving them to me by a legend in America, you know what I mean? And I don't want them to die with me. I don't want them to be forgot about, and I want to pass them on. But the stuff that's in my brain, I think, is sellable.
Yeah.
Because I've got an answer for everything.
Well, I'm going to come through, and you're going to show us.
But for lots of years, right? You master the face of the ball, didn't you? Nobody masters the head, did they?
Yeah.
Everybody masters the face, didn't they? At this minute in time, I'm onto the head. That's where I'm at. I'm trying to learn the art of massey at the minute.
Yeah.
But understand it. Like, you understand the stun shot and the screw shot and the top shot. I'm trying to learn basically elevations. So the elevation on a massey, right? The more it comes like this, the harder it has to be hit.
Yeah.
So if you've got a little curl, it's a very slight elevation with just a little soft stroke. The more extreme the curl becomes, the more elevated the cue's got to go. So that's where I'm at the minute. Yeah. I feel like I've mastered the face of the cue ball, so I'm now on to the head. So nobody really does it, do they?
No, not depending on what you play. I suppose if you're spending time in America, maybe on the 9-ball, I think there's a lot more mass here.
No, this is for English pool.
For English
this is for pool. When you're. Yeah, this is for when you're.
There won't be anybody that's learning much about that.
Well, you'll see Mellon knows a lot of it.
Mm.
You see the shots he plays, mate. He plays outrageous top shots because I believe he's mastered the top of the cue ball. Yeah. I think Mellon's already got that in his golf bag, mate. I think he's already done it. But just understanding how it works.
Yes.
You know, what I was talking about, elevations and power. You know what I mean? So the more extreme the massey is. And you're going to have shots on an English pool table where you've got a gap.
Yeah. And
as long as you're snookered and there's a gap, you've got to try and get out. And that's where these shots can have a use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can learn like how hard and weigh for whatever kind of shots needed for that particular stroke, you know what I mean? Because we're talking about what was in my head. What's in my head is whatever situation is in front of you on that pool table at that current time, filing cabinets in your brain. So pulling out the answer to the question that's in front of you on that table type thing. So if I've got a double or ball, go into my filing cabinet of doubles, because there's a technique for that as well. I went to America and trained with Freddie the Beard, who was a banking specialist. They called doubles banking. He was the master banker, mate. They could do banks that nobody would even dream of. This guy was so clever that in America they call the knuckles titties, right? You know the points?
Yeah.
Got them rounded over here. The square over there, they're called titties, right? Because Americans have got some mad nicknames for we would call it the bulk line.
Yeah.
They call it the kitchen.
The kitchen. Oh, that's a good look out the kitchen. Yeah, they're in the kitchen.
What they call it. They call the cue ball whitey. You've probably heard this phrase, behind the black ball.
Behind the black
Have you
ball.
ever heard that phrase? He's got him behind the black ball.
Ah, yeah.
The American phrase for snooker. So they have different...
They call it scratch when you're going off as a scratch.
Scratch when you're going off. They've got loads of mad names, right, mate? So basically, titties is the knuckles, right? Now, this Freddie guy was that clever. He was doing shots with the titties, not with the corners.
Yeah.
That's how deep he was, mate.
Jesus.
Just like another like level, you know. So he gave me a lot of secrets that anybody's got.
Yeah.
And they're in my brain, and they're not getting left to just die.
Yeah.
They're not going to go with me. They've got to get out there, Kel.
Yeah.
So if you can help me get this out, and if we could make something from it, would be fantastic. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If we've got to give it away for free, then it'll get given away for free, because it's got to get out of this head.
Yeah. Well, like you say, we're gonna have a sit down and talk about that anyway.
You need to have come over to South Shields for a day, I think.
Oh yeah, mate.
Spend a day with me. I'll teach you the IM rules, and I'll show you the system, and you can tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Because do you know why I know like this is real, right? Because when I put it into play, it works. There is no second guessing it.
Yeah.
It works every time. Everything works. And I've got an autistic friend, right, who likes to pull things to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
If you give him a conversation about something, he'll dissect it and do what autistic people are very clever in certain aspects. Yeah. So this guy's really like a Stephen Hawking kind of guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's really clever, mate. There's like no subject. He's autistic. So he's my friend.
Yeah.
He's been my friend all my life. I know how to deal with him. I know how to handle him. I know how to help in public, and you know what I mean? So I go to his house, and when he's around me, he's a normal guy, mate. Totally comfortable, and that's why I'm his friend, because he's like, you can't interact with many people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he says to us, Brian, I'm so happy to have a friend like you, because you interact with us, and most people might do that and might like shun us and look us, and I've said, oh yeah, man, I'm not that kind of guy, man. I've just got love and peace for everyone, me, man. You know what I mean? So I show him my system. I draw it on paper. You know what I mean? Like rough scrap bits of paper and that. And I want him to rip it to pieces. I want him to dissect it. And you know what he said to us? He went, Brian, that's genius. He says, that is genius. He didn't rip it apart and didn't dismantle it and dissect it. And
just accepted it and was like, yeah.
Because I know it is, man.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody out there. I even spoke to Elliot and Gary in China about when they play snooker. Did they do any of these things? And they were like, nah, we don't do any of that. You know what I mean? And I just briefly touched on it because I wanted to know, are these snooker players clued up on it as well?
Just testing the water with them to see if they kind of had an idea of it.
Didn't know what any of it. They play naturally, whereas I don't. I play by numbers and lines, and I draw lines on the table that only me can see, you know. It's really mad.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to learn it now.
Yeah, when you learn this, mate, I'm telling you, you'll say, "Hey, Buzz, you're not as daft as you look."
So what is next for you then, Buzzer? Apart from opening your club?
Well, I'm winding things right down. To be truthful with you, I'm not going to be playing. I can't disclose too much.
Yes,
but
of course,
I am heading somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be totally away from Black Ball.
Yeah.
Going to be promoting these new rules.
Mm-hmm.
Any competitions that I'll be having at my place will be under them new rules.
Right.
I'm looking to do training schools for younger people, not just for them to get better, but as a community aspect as well. I want my club to be community based, mate.
Yeah, man.
I want to bring something back. I want that feeling of everybody together back, because I feel like over the last year, people's forgot to bond.
Yeah,
it looks like the bond it has, mate. And I want to make my club a special place.
Yeah,
I really do. I've got a little plan here. I'm surrounded by older people. I've got a lot of older single persons' houses around next to us. So I want to bring them in as well. Like, I would like to do things on an afternoon for them, maybe cake and tea and a game of dominoes and a game of bingo for them, and you know what I mean? Give them something.
You get like four of them to come and have a game of pool together.
Get them out the house, let them have a bit of time with each other, let them bond. And then on the tea times, I'm looking to train the kids, and then on the night times, aim at the adults, and then put all my competitions in place. Bring some of the big names down to South Shields, because I know them and my friends. They'll come. It might cost us a couple of quid, but it'll not cost as much as it would cost the average guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm going to probably get them down. And even if I pull myself out of the money games, because I don't think there's many left of them for us now.
Yeah.
I think there's not many left. There cannot be. I think I'm running out. I'm running out of opponents. A lot of opponents don't want to play us. Yeah. Because I'm a tactical nightmare. You know what I mean? You know what you're going to get with me, mate. Yes. I will attack you. And I will attack you when they're attackable. But if they're not, I just ain't gone. I'm setting me ways. But that was Black Ball. I was setting me ways, you know what I mean? I got that from the world rules. Yeah. Because I became that strong tactically. I was really strong tactical player. I was one of the best brains in there. I could tie them all up, mate. All of them. They'd all say, "Hey, tie your nuts, him. Horrible to play against." And I know this myself, because when I practice myself, I tie myself up. I turn myself into two people. I'm Bry, and I become Buzzer also. So I've got nobody to practice with. So Bry will come to the table, break off, pick a set. If I fall down, I then become Buzzer.
It's almost like a split personality. You have to be playing yourself.
It's mad, but it's true.
At least you're not going to get bored, mate. At least you've got someone to play against.
And I'm a really good opponent for myself. Because I've got a guy painting and decorating my club, right? He's watching us practice, right? And he's watching us snook on myself. And then I'll try and go with the snooker, you know what I mean? And then I'll give myself ball in hand and I'll put myself back in. He's like, "Are you snookering yourself?" And I'm like, "Why I?" He's like, "My gee."
I've never seen anybody snooker themselves before.
Yeah, because I have to, don't I, when you think about it? Aye. I have to keep me touch in, and I'm trying to take myself out of that style of game, which the rules I'm playing now are automatically doing that. They're automatically doing it. So my game's gone from full on attack to beat you tactically. You know what I mean? Now I'm back to attacking you again, but with a sense of now when it's right and when it's not right. You know what I mean? Like a balance, like a nice balance. And then players are the hardest ones to beat, in my opinion. Yeah. That's what makes Mick Hill so good. Because Mick's deadly. He'll finish you, but when he knows that they're not on, he'll stop and he'll put the right shot in. Whereas Chris doesn't do that. Chris keeps going. And he still gets them. Then he still gets them. I'm like, he done a clearance on Monday night, man. Honestly, it was just berserk, man. He had
I
a
know.
ball trapped at the bottom of the table. He tried to shift it 3 or 4 times, and he ended up like with one ball left. And he's played a ball in the middle to hit 2 reds in the middle of the table, like a 4-ball plat, to knock that one in as well. And he didn't knock it in, but he opened it up and it went. I was like, hey, look at that shot, man. He's just played there. He's potted the yellow in the middle and he's played a 4-ball plat. Full. I wouldn't even look at that shot. I'd say, nah, you're off your head.
It's great to see the lads getting some good coverage as well.
Well, it's bringing pool out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now seems like the time like that pool's going to really explode. And I didn't see the groups coming together.
No.
There was a little ray of hope, I think, last year, but I don't see it happening now. And
I think the IPA might stick with black ball, and then obviously you've got the ultimate pool.
Yeah.
It'll kind of
it'll end up. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to go. Like, but I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm going with the UPG because I just see so much professionalism, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of professionalism with the IPA, but I've seen a lot of shoddiness as well. A lot of shoddiness. And I didn't see any of that with these fellas. I've never seen any of it. Everything I've seen or reads like puts a smile on my face, you know what I mean? Gives us an extra bit smile. Because when I've been playing pool as long as this, and like you're seeing it happening now in real time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen all the negatives over the years, and now in real time, I'm seeing what changes is going on. And I've just got a really positive vibe about it.
I think it's coming at the right time as well. Like I think, especially you've got your club opening. You're in a great place in your life. The coming out lockdown, it just feels like, I don't know, like everything's just kind of fate. Everything's just coming together, hitting together right at that right time. And hopefully this, like the back end of this year, over the next few months, it's just gonna, and I think people deserve it as well, Brian. I think everybody's been, we've all been kind of. It's been tough.
It's been good. The public have been good, mate.
It's been tough for everybody, and I think like sorry.
The public, I think the public have been really good, right? But like, I don't really want to go off topic because everybody's got their own opinion.
Yeah.
But I do believe that everybody should be given their own choice.
Yeah.
Right. I believe a lot of that at the minute's being kind of disregarded. It's a lot of divide seems to be kicking in now.
Yeah.
With the mask wearers and the non-mask wearers, the vaccinated, not unvaccinated. I think it's got to be where people's given their own choice, not forced. That's just my own personal opinion. That's a bit off track, like, but
no, I know what you mean.
That's part of where we're at now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm going to be a pub owner, right, and I don't want to be discriminated against anyone. I don't want to discriminate against the unvaccinated, and I don't want to discriminate against the vaccinated. So my policy is going to be, it's your own adult judgment of whether you come or whether you don't come. But it's not going to be any divide with me.
Yeah.
I can't be that way. I will put all the sanitizers out and I'll do everything.
Follow the guidelines, but
but I can't be there. I can't be there to become a policeman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I can't police it. Every human's got their own right, and I'm not going to be getting myself into potential scrapes and scraps when I'm not that kind of person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that could be a potential skid mark for a lot of pool club owners. How they deal with this. You know what I mean? Like how would you deal with it?
Exactly. It's a tough one. It's one of those where, like you say, I've seen what people say walking into a club and they wear the masks and you think, you don't want to be playing pool with a mask on, and then you think, well, if everybody gets vaccinated, but obviously coming from a place from you're coming from an actual business owner's perspective, and you're kind of like, look, I'm going to be putting these competitions on. I'm even putting them on so it's like a community. I want all these people to come together. Not everybody comes together, but you're not allowed in because you haven't sanitized your face. Do you know what I mean? I know when it sounds, I've gone a little bit, that's a bit over the top, but you see where I'm coming from. It's kind of like I think it's going to get to a stage where, you know, they're going to relax all of that, and then they're going to be like, look, let's get just everybody kind of back to it. Nobody breaking like any
I
rules.
don't think they can knock it down again.
They can't. They're just going to have to say, listen, let's everybody's had. People have been vaccinated, and like you say, if you don't want to get vaccinated, and you still want to go to this place, you're kind of running the risk because everybody else has been vaccinated, or lots of other people haven't. It is just going to get to a choice where it's your own choice, and you know, and I think after being locked down for so long,
because you know, if it was to become mandatory, right, that would be a problem for me.
Yeah,
that would become a personal problem for me, because for one, I've got a fear of needles.
Yeah.
For starters, and my religious beliefs is another. Like, I'm not a Bible basher, I'm far from it, but I believe in right from wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to put anything in my body, mate, that's just been produced over a year.
Yeah.
And they've got knowledge about, and you know, it's like I can't be forced. It goes against me human kind of my things.
Mm.
I've had a family member who's used needles all of his life with a dirty drug. You know what I mean? It's like, that's part of my makeup, of my phobia of needles.
Yeah. And I'm not going to be told that I have to, conform type of thing.
Yeah, because every person's probably got their own little story and their own beliefs and all that. But like, this probably we could talk all day about this subject.
I know, mate. I know. We'll have a
really
part 2.
Get there. But like, what you're talking about is a really good question, because there's a lot of other pool club owners and business owners who mightn't have pool clubs but might be in the same kind of predicament. What do I do? Do I discriminate? Do I become a bit Stasi type thing, you know? Not for me, mate.
Brian,
I'm happy go with Buzzer, aren't I?
Exactly. Well, I'm looking forward. I'll let you go, mate. We've been on nearly 2.5 hours, you know, having a crack. It's been
How long we've been on, mate?
Well,
I must have broke the records, didn't I?
No, mate. I think Potsy was on for 2 hours.
Well, I've really enjoyed it, Kevin.
Mate, it's been great.
I hope you've enjoyed it too.
Mate, I've enjoyed this crack. You know, I've been looking forward to having. I know we've been speaking on the phone for a bit, but it's been great to have a bit catch up and just see you.
We did a little bit of homework, didn't we, Kev?
We did, mate. And I'm gonna look at that Freddie the Beard and that, and I'm gonna read up about it. But I'm looking forward to. Well, it's a month, isn't it, until the opening? So
May the 17th. You got your invite, right? Kev, before I go, right? Can you just put as a possible potential sponsor shout out for us?
Of course. Absolutely.
Right. Over the years, I've only ever been allowed 3 sponsors, right? There's not a lot of money in pool, as you know.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity now for us as pool players to have 5 sponsors on my shirts, and they're all going to be live TV events where I'm going to play.
Yes.
So I've got 4 open spots at the minute.
Nice.
To go on my TV tops. So if you know anybody out there that might want to get on board with War Buzzer, there's 4 spots available. Give us a shout if you're interested, and we'll do you a good deal.
And obviously you've got Davey
Davy's in there.
Terra MLT number 1.
He's me headline sponsor. He'll never go away unless he sacks us. But basically, I've got opportunity now to get 4 more on there. And as I say, in the
TV as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all TV. It's good company advertising at a cheap price. I wouldn't have your eyes out, you know what I mean?
Of course.
But it helps the pool player get the way he needs to go.
Exactly.
My business, I don't know at the minute how it's going to go. Hopefully it'll go fantastic. I won't need any sponsors. You know what I mean? But I know it's going to go well. But
I'm sure there's people out there that like to get their on your top.
Well, there's a chance here. There's 4 spots available. So anybody watches and might want to go on, give Kev a shout or give me a shout.
Absolutely.
Well, Kev, thank you, mate. I've really enjoyed this.
It's been great having a chat with you, Bri.
I hope it helps any players. Take a bit of what I've said. If not, I hope you enjoy some of our stories. And I've really enjoyed it, mate. So I wish you well.
Same to you, brother.
Good night. Thank you very much, all kid, right?
Speak to you soon, mate. See you, Bri.
Soon.